Welcome back to Wall again and Floyd Friday. So it's time for another Pink Floyd album. And this week we have a classic. It's Dark Side of the Moon. And we've two special guests this week. We have Eric returning, but there's also Danny. So how are you keeping, lads?
Yeah,
What's the story, Rob?
Oh, good.
Thanks for having us back on.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks for the invite.
No problem at all. Anytime. So Dark Side of the Moon, an absolute classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the greatest albums of all time. Some have said.
I think it's the greatest.
Yeah.
We were just saying that. Like, I mean, it is for me. It's the greatest. You know,
It's so good.
Everything just kind of just came together at the right time. You know.
Yeah, I'll run through a bit about the album, some of the boring facts as I call them, and then we can just run into some of the more interesting stuff. So it was released in 1973, the eighth studio album by the band, and it's gone on to sell over 45 million copies worldwide, which actually makes it the fourth highest selling album of all time in any genre. So
Yeah.
I was just looking at it before we come on there. Michael Jackson's Thriller has 70 million sales worldwide. And then Back in Black by AC/DC has 50 million sales worldwide. And then tied in third spot, well, I think like Whitney Houston, The Bodyguard, right, is a little bit ahead, I think, on American certified sales. And then it's Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. So, like, that's, I could talk about how many times it's gone platinum and it got to number one, but it doesn't matter. Like, over the course of time, this album is one of the highest selling albums of all time. So,
Yeah.
And it's iconic. I mean, the artwork is just... You don't even have to be a Pink Floyd fan to see and know that's Pink Floyd. It's so associated.
Yeah.
for sure.
Very famous artwork.
Yeah, it transcends Pink Floyd and it transcends music. It's like a cultural vision or something. I don't know. It's just one of those things. You have people going around with T-shirts with this on. They probably don't even know what it means.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny the way I always saw it, but like it's probably not. It's just the way you interpret it. But it was like that's the guys playing the music, and it comes out as one thing. Do you know? Well, it could mean I know it doesn't.
Very good, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's your interpretation of it.
Yeah, it's my interpretation of it. Like, everything comes together, and something great comes out. Just the white light, you know.
Isn't it famous? Like Richard Wright is saying, it's like what they wanted was something simple, bold, and dramatic.
Yeah.
There, like it's famous bending of light, refraction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many things you can draw from this. Like I suppose the first thing is the whole symbol of the triangle. So that's the whole. I don't know if you've ever read up much on like the Illuminati and all that side of things, But like Roger Waters is big into, society and governments and control and manipulation, all of that type of thing, and so it certainly feeds into a lot of that. And when you open up the album on CD, anyway, it's the pyramids, which is a lot of conspiracy theories around that in terms of the Illuminati and stuff. So and then you have the white light coming in, as you say, and then it refracts and it goes into the colors of the rainbow, or the five primary colors, or is it five or six? It's actually six. So, and black is obviously one of those colors, but because of the background, the black's blurred out. So, I don't know. Is it like a message goes in to the system and then it comes out as something else?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what's beautiful about Pink Floyd and even their artwork. It's the lore. It's the what does it mean?
Yeah,
and a lot of times there is no meaning. It's just so subjective, and you can look into it yourself in your own ways.
Yeah,
you're
sure.
Point. Why the triangle? Yeah, I know.
Like it's like
actually,
Roger Waters doesn't do much by accident. Like he's very philosophical.
Oh yeah, he's genius.
And he has strong opinions on things. So
very strong opinions. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has artistic.
It's meant to represent ambition and greed as well. Like the whole album is themed around madness. Descent into madness, and things that make you go mad. But that's what the prism is. It's about ambition and it's about greed. Apparently, that's kind of what Hypnosis have kind of said their artwork is about. Like,
cool, right? Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So it was obviously recorded at Abbey Road, famously. So probably the first band after the Beatles to go in there and record a very significant album.
Oh yeah.
And obviously this album has sold more than any of the Beatles albums, so who's to say? Who's the bigger band? Is it the Beatles or Pink Floyd?
Yeah.
I recently visited the studios there, and like you have a merch shop just for all of the bands that recorded. The Beatles have one wall, Pink Floyd have another wall, and it's just Dark Side of the Moon, T-shirts, hats, jumpers, the vinyls, everything. So it's pretty celebrated. It's very celebrated. It is.
And Radiohead recorded there as well.
Oh yeah, so many famous bands. Nile Rodgers, Arcade Fire.
Yeah.
The people who've released the best albums seem to have had recordings gone through there. Like.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it was released through Harvest in Europe and Capitol Records in the US. 42 minutes long, which is the perfect length for an album. Not too long.
Yes.
Not too short.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't even after that. Like, do you know what? I really don't like, right? And I know you love The Wall, right? But I don't like double albums. I love when it's condensed. Do you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 42 minutes. Like,
yeah.
You know. So
there's some double albums I do like. I have to say, I like Physical Graffiti. I think that's fantastic by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
We actually we reviewed The Wall as well, and we gave them that one high marks. As a double album.
I think that's your album, isn't it?
Very few albums though out in the world. I think that you can grab it and you listen to it in entirety. And I think this is the exception to that. Like you have to listen to the whole thing from start to finish.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's one of those. It's a piece that you just listen to. You can't pull a single track off and like throw it on a playlist and like that's on.
I think that was Roger's idea.
Yeah.
Like a concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I agree with you, Danny. Like for a single album, 42 minutes in and around that is absolutely perfect. Yeah, 100%. And then 10 tracks, but it's over 2 sides. So this was released when vinyl was the medium. So you had side A, side B. So it was around 20 minutes of music on each side, and all the songs flow into each other.
Yeah.
But you know, they do. They completely do it. It's perfect. It's perfection. But did you ever notice when time comes back in, it sounds like a beginning again, like the previous song.
Yeah.
Sorry, Money. I meant to say Money. But when the Great Gig in the Sky stops, then it feels like a closing part. Doesn't it?
The part one.
That could, exactly. Like, I mean, but like modern albums don't have that.
No,
you're
so right.
It's like 2 EPs. Do you know what I mean? Like it has that kind of, it brings you up and it brings you somewhere. But then when money comes in, it goes somewhere different.
Yeah.
Do you know? But,
definitely.
But still, it's still the same album, obviously.
Yeah.
But I always felt, and I think it's because, what you said, is side 1, there's side 2.
Yeah. And you're right. Like the CD, in a way, ruined it because you could have 74 minutes of music and there was no breaks.
Yeah.
Sometimes some albums were overinflated then in the 90s, like.
Yeah.
In the 2000s. Too much filler.
Putting a full story on one side and you got this is the side of the line that's going to tell the story. You're going to flip it over and it'll be this second half of it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like sometimes the limitations are a good thing because it restricts artistically what you can achieve, and everybody's working off the same platform. Like, but not completely get that, Danny. Yeah, like money does sound like a new chapter from Breaking in the Sky.
Yeah.
For sure. The production on this is amazing.
Oh yeah,
absolutely amazing.
Yes, it does stand up today.
Like they took what the Beatles did with Sgt. Pepper's, and they just brought it so much further.
Yeah.
The way everything's recorded, the way stuff is panned left and right, the use of bells on time. Sorry, Dan.
It's quadraphonic.
Yeah,
like you can listen, it's around like I think it was recorded that way as well. I've never actually heard it quadraphonically.
Really? Has it been released in that format?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah. But
right, okay.
Alexa.
Yeah, one small little speaker in your kitchen this size.
yeah. So like, you know what I mean?
Set up your four speakers and sit in the middle, you know.
Yeah.
I never actually knew that. That's very interesting. So they were ahead of their time because, like, even now the technology's not there. As in, like, I went to Wimble Lane Studios last year, and they showed us, as you were saying, they have speakers on the front and speakers in the back, but it's all done through headphones. But you can hear like people walking behind you. You would swear that someone is like about to tap you on the shoulder. Like, it's really spooky. You close your eyes, and they have all these sounds coming in and stuff, and you swear people are walking around you in the room. But the way it's done, it's all done on the location. So not only is it left to right, it's always also forward and backwards. So they're able to create this 3D sense of music. But like, even in this day and age, like 2024, we still don't have like where you can set up like 4 speakers in the room at home and like play, and it'll go around in music, because the medium isn't there. It's not being released on CDs. It's not being released on vinyl. It's all now. It's digital, on the phone, earbuds. That's the way 90% of people listen to music. You know, so
happiest format as well. Completely compressed them. You got loads of lostness in there in your in the compressed format.
Completely, Eric. All the sparkle is gone. All the nice nuances. And that's why I still double down on CDs, because especially with this album, you crank this with a CD and a good set of speakers, you're getting a very, very high-end mastered copy, essentially, of what they were listening to in the studio.
I think
and the vinyl is great as well.
It was recorded on a Trident. I think it was in Abbey Road. I think the Beatles got it. The end of it, maybe the Abbey Road was recorded on it. Their album.
Alan Parsons was as well.
Alan Parsons, yeah. But I think that there's something about, like, not only is it, from me, the greatest album, but like, it was just at that time. I think the 70s had sonically the sweetest sounds of any decade. The 70s, particularly.
Yeah.
Because and for me, I'll tell you what, do you know when you hear the drums and they're real close and in your ear?
Dry.
Yeah, they're dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's really the 70s sound. Like, you listen to Thin Lizzy or Bowie, you know what I mean?
Rush.
And you can hear those closed drums, you know. But as well, they were recorded on the Trident desk, and I think it was the equipment I had as well. It just I think there was only about 30 of them made. I think a lot of them in LA and somewhere in Abbey Road.
It's probably one of those that Dave Grohl chased down.
Probably, yeah.
That Sound City documentary.
It's not only desks he's chasing down at the minute.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it's like one of a kind, you know, recording mixing desks.
Yeah, and I think back then as well, they used like tube powered mics, and I think that also gave a certain warmth to the sound.
Yeah.
And everything was recorded analog to tape.
Yeah.
So you couldn't over compress it, you couldn't push the bass too much. You had limitations in what you were recording. And as a result of that, then it first, like, the engineers had to be really good, essentially, and the musicians had to be really good. You know, if you were halfway decent, you couldn't just Pro Tools and make it sound good. You know, you need to be really, really good musician and a really good engineer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And they got one. Alan Parsons is the same.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But he brought in the whole concept as well of the tape loops. So intro, on the intro, the Dark Side of the Moon. And all, like, you know, that's where Nick Mason came in with the whole idea, like all the sound effects.
Yeah.
His name is credited to that opening track, Speak to Me. So it's
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all of that technology at that time is all looping tapes and stuff, and like even like on Money, the cash register and all, like they stapled all that together, like, you know, to make that sound cohesive in a certain tempo and all. Like, it's
100%. Like, and the bells, the alarm clocks in time, everything, it's all done. Do you remember we were talking, Eric, on a previous episode about the division bell on the last song on that album? The way it's in time.
Yeah.
It's obviously not a mistake, but it's the same with all the effects here. They're all in time. with the tempo of the song. So there's no, when you listen to it, it doesn't sound weird. It sounds, right, maybe the first time you hear it, it sounds weird. What's that? Alarm clock's gone off, you know? What the hell is that?
That's right. Yeah, the first time I heard it, I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah. Funny story. Like, I used to put it on, like, if I was going to sleep or something. If I had a few drinks and I was going to sleep, I'd stick it on, Dark Side, and you'd be like sitting there and just sort of dozing off to sleep. And then the next thing, after about 10 minutes, all these alarm clocks start going off. You're like,
It's crash back to reality.
Exactly. I think that did you say it was Alan Parsons' idea?
Yeah.
Because I remember I found out it was him, and I was like, no, but I've come to love it. I understand.
It's a part of the song now. You don't even bat an eyelid. You expect it to be there, and you expect it to be in time in your ear, and it is. It's perfect, like absolutely perfect. So I suppose we'll talk through the story of the album in terms of music. I didn't do too much research, Eric, on the concept or the theme of this album. So maybe you might know a little bit more on that side.
Yeah. I mean, so the whole concept was actually they just finished up with Metal, and I think they were doing like soundtrack to a movie, and it was like Obscured by Clouds is what they had. But they were playing around with like sound effects, and it was like they wanted to do an album dedicated to like household objects, like hitting like glasses and all this clocks, and so actually you can see all the influence of all those household objects going into the sound of Dark Side of the Moon. But they were actually jams that they put together over a collection of all of their kind of gigs. I think it was called Eclipse, is what they called it, a piece for historical lunatics. So that kind of mindset of madness was kind of coming into play, and that's when Roger Waters was like, I want to write the next album and I want to dedicate it to the theme of madness, and anything that will kind of drive you towards madness, so the whole idea of money, making you super rich and whatever, and then you become mad, and then us and them, people committing crimes or atrocities against human beings, it's us and them, it's all towards madness. There's a whole story in there as well, and it kind of comes to Eclipse, and there's a story at the end of it where there's like all these kind of sound effects or soundscapes that are going on through the album. But the whole idea is that if you're on the dark side of the moon, it's like it's a representation that you're mad. You're not in where the sun hits. It's all this kind of it's a bit of a crazy concept, but it's an amazing concept as well. Like Roger Waters single-handedly wrote all those lyrics.
All the lyrics is credited to Roger Waters. On this one. Yeah.
Fantastic idea for an album. But they went in and they literally recorded the album, and like I think they famously recorded it in like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. And the output was just insane. Like even getting to some of the other tracks we'll probably talk about in a minute, but The Great Gig in the Sky, I mean it's my favourite song in the whole album. It's incredible.
Really? Yeah.
The intro the build up.
They didn't know what they wanted to do with that song. They brought in Alan Parsons. Actually, he recommended a session singer, Claire Torrey. She came in, and the lads are like, listen to that and put something down. But she done one take, and that take is what you hear on the album. That's where singing.
Wow.
Completely improv. She didn't know. She wasn't given lyrics. She wasn't given anything. She done an improv take, and she's like, "Oh, I'll do another one." And the lads are like, "Oh, we'll use the first one." That's how good it was.
Yeah, she wasn't even sure.
The talent, very talented and professionally trained musician. She could just belt that out, and knew what notes to hit, because they're perfect. Like the notes she's hitting are just like she's using a lot of upper extensions on the scales and stuff. It's really, but harmonically sounds amazing with the music.
Yeah, I mean,
so good.
Her voice is the instrument. That's singing it all. You don't.
It's nearly like a guitar solo, but a voice is doing it, and the fact that there's no words, it's even better.
It does actually make it better.
She's not trying to phrase. You know the way if you have words, you're trying to build a melody around words and phrase it right. You have to change something here or there, and then you kind of have to mean the words and all that. But she's just singing, she's just belting it out, and absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
fantastic.
As well, on the song "Breathe," just speak to me with just the sound effects, and then it goes into "Breathe." You're a massive fan of Miles Davis, so Richard Wright was obsessed with this. Miles Davis, I think it was like All Blues or something is the song. But he loved the chord progression, and he brought the inspiration of that into the song Breathe. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, all Blues.
No way. That's mad because like it's like a A7 E minor.
Yeah, second one. Yeah.
And I find that comes into the song again. What's the second song? It's Breathe, isn't it?
No, in Time. So they're playing Time and they go back into Breathe. They reprise.
They come.
Reprise Breathe.
Yeah. So they play Breathe, then they play Time, then they come back into Breathe. So they're playing that, and then there's another song. What is it?
On the Run.
Any Colour You Like. Same. It's the same music. Like,
Any Colour You Like. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a motif.
Yeah.
Just those two chords. Kind of, and that brings it in again another way, you know.
Exactly.
I didn't know that from Miles Davis.
Yeah, Miles Davis. Yeah, there you go.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Well, obviously a seventh chord would be used very often in jazz. So, it's very very interesting.
There you go.
And then like obviously, you know, Time is a fantastic song as well, as we spoke about the intro with the clocks, but like the song itself.
It's incredible.
It's absolutely amazing.
Road of Toms at the start, Nick Mason, famous. Incredible Road of Toms on that.
Such a great Pink Floyd song. And then the album then comes into side 2 with arguably one of Pink Floyd's most famous songs, you know, alongside Wish You Were Here and maybe The Wall, but, you know, Money is definitely one of their top 5 songs in terms of what people would recognise. It's been in a lot of movies and stuff.
Yeah, and the irony is that was the number 1 hit that actually made them globally famous.
Made the money.
It's a tongue in cheek, you know, jab at like how, you know, money ruins the riches or riches.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the Velvet Revolver version of Money?
No, actually, I haven't heard that.
Please don't ever listen to it in your life. It is absolute. Like, who needs to hear Velvet Revolver playing Money? Like, honestly, who needs to hear that? Why didn't they just go and cover like an Aerosmith song or Stay in Their Lane? Like, I love Velvet Revolver. I think they're a great band, but like Money, Pink Floyd are the only band that should play Money. That's it. You know, and they did a great job of it when they reunited in 2005. Did you just catch that, lads? When what was it, Live Earth?
Yeah.
Live 8 was it?
Was that the last time?
Live Earth, was it?
Yeah.
Or Live 8.
Yeah.
Live 8, I think it was called.
Yeah, Live 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was absolutely. I was blown away by that performance.
Speaking of live performance, actually, if you're into Dark Side of the Moon, this is the album actually. They released it on vinyl there. It only came out a few years ago.
Oh, right.
It's live in Wembley, 1974. Check this out. It's class. If you want to visually see it, that's where you got to watch it. It's incredible on that.
74, Wembley.
Yeah, 73, 74. It's it's a famous recording that they took and they released it from when they were touring Dark Side of the Moon.
Cool. Brilliant stuff. And then they move into Us and Them, which is again another famous song. And I think Roger Waters named his tour in 2018 Us and Them, wasn't it?
Us and Them, exactly. Yeah. That's
so again another classic. And then it ends with Any Colour You Like, Brain Damage, and then into Eclipse, which is I suppose fitting when you're talking about the Dark Side of the Moon to finish with a song called Eclipses.
It's perfect, isn't it?
Pretty perfect.
Incredible. I mean, Us and Them, what a song.
Oh yeah,
incredible song.
Yeah, it's so mellow but beautiful. Really
really really cool. This
unusual chords as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah,
unusual. I don't know the chords. I have to find them out.
Didn't they? Pink Floyd were doing like a soundtrack for a movie called Zabriskie Point or something like that. I haven't seen the movie now, but the soundtrack to that movie wasn't them, but it wasn't fully formed at that point. They hadn't written the song. It's the same chords and a different progression. So yeah, there's Zabriskie Point. It's called. It's some weird movie that they done.
Fair play, Eric. You know your stuff when it comes to Pink Floyd. There's no doubt about it. You have an in-depth knowledge. So look, guys, I suppose now it's time to give our ratings. Judges ratings, marks out of 10. So Danny, seeing as you're the newbie, do you want to go first?
Yeah. I give this a 6 out of 10. No, it's 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 for Danny. No surprise there. What about you, Eric?
That's an 11 out of 10 for me.
11 out of 10.
I love it that much. I even got a tattooed on me,
Love it. Oh yeah, for me it's a 10 out of 10, lads.
Yeah,
if you're a music fan and this isn't 10 out of 10, you really need to examine your taste in music, I believe. This is like, and I know like it's the go-to album. Like, oh, what's your favorite Pink Floyd album? Oh, Dark Side of the Moon. It's a bit cliched, but there's a reason for it. Like, it does stand up to all the other albums, and it beats them hands down.
Yeah. But it's funny. I have my son listen to it. He's 7. Aaron just said give a shout out to him there. But I have him I bring him in the car, and I say I'm not letting him listen to just not letting him listen to Lady Gaga. But so I play this, and he goes, "What's this about?" And I kind of put a story to it. I talk about this. I make it up. Do you know what I mean? I just say oh, this guy, he's a space alien, and he crashes on his planet, and you can hear the plane, and now he's here, and they're chasing him, and he's running, time. So he loves this. He loves this album, and who else? He loves a few people actually, Nirvana and stuff. But anyway, But do you know what I mean? I want to get and listen to the right stuff.
That's it. It certainly is.
This is one of them.
Brilliant stuff. Well, Danny, I'll have to come back. That was really, really enjoyable, and obviously you have a great passion for Pink Floyd and music. So
this man got me into Pink Floyd. That's why he's here.
Right, okay. We've you to blame, Danny.
Back in my days when I was in the band. Listen to real music.
Yeah. Eric, you don't want to be listening to Linkin Park and Slipknot and Limp Bizkit. Try this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they were great too.
No.
I love me new metal as well.
Yeah, me too. I love new metal.
I was a new metal kid as well, so.
Papa Roach. I went to see them actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all coming back now. Linkin Park are back with a new singer now, and looks like there's going to be a tour announced for next year. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Anyway, I think we'll wrap up this video anyway. So so let us know what you think out there of Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. Do you think it's 10 out of 10? And if you don't, we don't want to hear it. Honestly, don't even bother putting a comment there. We'll delete it. Okay, just say how great this album is. And just leave it at that, okay? So leave a comment, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. I'll leave some more videos if you want to keep watching for my channel. And we'll talk to you next week for another Floyd Friday and another Pink Floyd album. Bye-bye now.